Hi guys, Skull here, and welcome back to another episode of my realistic playthrough of Derail Valley. Yep, there's the lightning. It's still wet and windy and rainy and yeah, there's lightning. I mean, I love weather like this, I'll be honest with you. I quite happily sit outside and watch this kind of weather, but this is not perfect for driving in. I think what we can probably do, I think it's getting towards the evening now. God, it's loud in here, isn't it? So we basically have the SO60 back here now. What we need to do is grab this work train here. We'll just take the car this time. We need to grab that and get it up towards the machine factory. Our locos are over here. They're fairly well fueled. I think they're on 3/4 fuel, that kind of thing. So what we'll do is we'll go and sleep this weather off and see what jobs we can get to get us back up towards the machine factory. Well, good morning, and the weather is, well, better than it was last night. I've slept for 10 hours, not literally, but in here, I've slept for 10 hours, and it's now just gone 6:30. The weather forecast, which is broken, says horrible weather all day, so quite frankly, what we're going to get, I've absolutely no idea. I've had a look at the jobs. Now, normally, traditionally, what we used to do was go down to the harbour, pick up some jobs, go up to the machine factory. We don't need the money anymore. So I'm going to go down the road of, you know, kind of doing more interesting things, going different places now. And looking at the job list down here, there are a few that take us down to the harbour, one to the Orwell Central, you know, which we could take, but it's just a little drop-off job in a siding, so it's not really worth the money. There is one to the steel mill, so I thought, well, why don't we sort of head west instead of east? Why don't we go west out of City South? Perhaps we'll go through the coal mine, and we can probably get some work to take coal up to the coal power plant. That's my thinking. So we're kind of going through, pick up some more stuff from here. Then we'll head up to the steel mill, make a drop there. There may even be coal jobs to the steel mill as well as the coal power plant. That's highly likely. And, you know, machine factories up here, that's where we're trying to get to. So we'll just kind of work our way through up to the machine factory. And, yeah, just do more interesting jobs, I think. And then when we get to the machine factory and we get our part for our SO60, I'm not going to come back directly. I'm just going to see where the wind takes us. We will head out wherever the jobs go and make our way back to City South in our own sweet time. Let's put it that way. So this job goes from C10 and it goes to the steel mill at B3I. Now what we need to do, we've got our assembled locomotive set over here with 3 D6s on it and DH4. The DH4 is now at the back, so the D6s are now in a line with a slug in between, so I think that looks a lot better. There's a lot of capability here, which is fine if we're hauling coal and stuff around, you know, we can do it. To get the work train out of here, what we can do is we can find the utility short flat car, which I think is that one. We'll put it that way. There we go. We'll spawn that on the back there. So that's what we need. That will now have been taken from over here. As I said in a previous episode, you can just move them around for a small fee. And given we've got the money these days, it's not worth, you know, bringing it out of there manually. You might as well just spawn it here. So let's, the only thing is we're facing the kind of the wrong way, aren't we? So, you know, City South is here. There is a triangle here. So what I think I'll do, we'll pick this job up and we'll have to reverse it, but we'll reverse it to the triangle and then go forward into the coal mine. That's what we'll do. That's the best way of getting these things turned around. So I'll get this thing started up and get the job connected and we'll head out. Right, I've hooked up. This is the job. I've had to get it out of that yard over there. So we're reversing back here. I've got one D6, which is the rear D6 running. That's got a full tank of fuel. My front D6 actually has less fuel than I thought. I think it's less than half a tank. And then the next one along is on half a tank. So they've not got a huge amount of fuel, but hopefully enough to get us over to the steel mill and then the coal power plant. We will definitely have to have a service at the machine factory. Now we're about to come past the station here, where I'm going to quickly run over and we'll get this job handed in. This is FH07. I'll just double check we've got the right job. FH07 is correct. I could only see one scrap metal job, so it's unlikely I'd get the wrong one, but it's better to double check. And then we need to decide how we're going to switch things. Let me grab this. That's going to be 3i. Okay. Because the... let me just get some power back on. The coal power plant... Sorry, the coal mine south can be an interesting place, as you can see here. We've been through this before. Oh, I need to set the switches to come here. So city south, coal mine south, that's going to be a left turn to come through here. Yeah, and we're going to stop there, and then we'll go back that way into coal mine south. So coal mine south is... One way around it is the outside lane. Another way is through to L. Most of our pickups are going to come out of B, so if we can get to B, that would help. There is an input line here. There's also a train track there, which I guess could have locomotives spawned onto it. The input line, in theory, should be empty. The less risky option is to go via 2L and then reverse back into B. The slightly more risky option is to go here. I have seen things on the input line before that shouldn't be there. Whether that's a bug or not, I don't know. So given it's not a huge amount of difference, I think I'm going to play it safe and go through 2L. So we'll keep right, and then left, and we'll go through 2L, and then we can reverse back and connect something up to B. Having said that, if we're going to take anything from here that's going to get dropped after the steel mill, we kind of want this container, this lot here, to be on the back of the train. So a much nicer approach would be to go into 2i. We've gone off speed here. A much nicer approach would be to go into 2i, drop the scrap here, then pull forward, connect to whatever we're taking, pull forward again and reverse back onto the scrap, so the scrap is on the back of the train. So I think in this instance I'm going to play the risky game. If there's something on 2i, we better come through here slowly. If there's something on 2i, we may have to try dive down one of these tracks. Hopefully there's one of them empty, or possibly that track there. And then we'll have to stop, have a look at the jobs, and if we're taking something from here, we'll have to ditch the scrap metal here and grab hold of whatever we're taking. So it's going to be a dynamic situation. I'm going to send us down through the B yard now. And the rest of it is just basically driving here. We've got a reverse situation going on at the moment. That's a lovely view, isn't it? Look at that. What a cracking view that is. So yeah, we're currently here on this part of the valley. So we've got a right turn and a sharp right turn and then past the triangle. And then we can get in the front of the train. I don't like the way this tree keeps leaning over. It's a cracking view around here. So we're approaching the triangle now. It was just a gradual climb, nothing particularly interesting about it. It's a lovely view though with that bridge. Goes down to the sawmill. Okay, that should do us. Yeah, so we're just looking to spin around. We should be able to see the coal mine in the mist. It's very misty. At night that looks lovely and lit up. A little bit of brake going here. And we'll jump off that. Make sure we get past that bit of metal. Now we can get in the front. Okay, it seems that the gearing mechanism is working on the DH4. Even though the reverse is in the forward position, I can access the throttle and the braking system from the DH4. Oh, there you go. That was behaving very strangely for a second there. I couldn't operate it directly, but I could on the remote. That was a bit odd. I did turn that off, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. Let me just double check everything is blue cable connected. It should be. Oh, hello. Not sure how that got disconnected. That It's definitely connected. That's connected there. Okay, that is mighty strange. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense because this locomotive is like the one that's powered is that one there. So there was a disconnect in the blue cable, but that was connected to it, but trying to operate from here wouldn't control it that way. So that actually makes sense. There was a break in that blue cable. Which makes me wonder how long that break's been there now. Oh well. Right, let's get over to the coal mine. And we're kind of hoping that there's a way into the B yard. But we do have to be careful when we approach it. Just in case it's not available on the input line. So I'll just back off the speed a bit. I don't want to go too quick. It's turning out to be a nice day, actually. Even though the forecast was terrible weather. Right, here's the left turn into the yard. Now, we can't trust it yet because it may not have spawned everything in, but it looks like there is something on. Oh, get back in. I don't think that input line's empty. I think that's got stuff on it. In fact, I can see it has got stuff on it. So our little plan didn't work. The input line has stuff on it, and it shouldn't. They should, in theory, always be empty. And there is a train, there is a locomotive on that one, so that dice roll didn't work out, unfortunately. We should have gone through the loading yard. Never mind. Every track appears to be completely full. Look at that. Every single one. That's fine. Okay, so every track there. So if you try to go that way, you'd be in big trouble. So actually what you need to do is you can go down that water line there, or you can go down the loading line. They should both, in theory, be empty, and you can see both are. So either or would do it. And we're going to go through this one, I think, and we'll get on the other side there and come back. The downside is, if we do want to take anything out of this yard, I'm going to have to find somewhere to put this stuff. So it might be easier if I pull up here in front of the station and leave the scrap there if we're going to take anything from here. I think that's what we'll have to do. Right, let's pull it up here. Stop it anywhere that'll do. We'll see what we've got going. Where's the job sheet? There it is. Harbour and Town, no good. Get rid of that. No good for us. Coal power plant, there's one possible. There's another possible. There's another possible. Steel mill. Dairy, we could do that one, I guess. I guess we just focus on the bigger ones, so I think we'll ditch that one. We'll ditch that one. We'll just take two big ones. That's 12. Oh, wow, 1,200. That's 2,000 tons. Over 2,000 tons. We've already got 400. We'd have to turn all three D6s on, and they'd have to have enough fuel to get to the coal power plant, which is definitely a risk. Definitely a risk. Okay. Also, we'd need to be able to hold up here and reverse it back, so I'd need all three engines on. I think we may run out of fuel doing this, but I think we'll do it anyway because it'll be fun. So we'll take... And now, hang on a minute. They're going into coal power plant A2I and B5I. That's also consideration. A2I is here. B5I is in the B line that we've done before. So that also affects it quite a bit because it makes it a bit of a mess to drop both of them off. Because to get in, you know, we've done this before. We were supposed to come in that way, loop back that way, then reverse and drop into B. That then leaves you having to pull forward to reverse and drop into 2I. and then you're facing back outwards, and you have to go back out this way and then reverse back up into the machine factory. It's doable, but it's definitely messy. The easier option... That could be a fun drop. Well, let's not shy from a challenge. Let's do it anyway. Let's take both of these. Which one do we want to drop first, then? Do you want to drop B first? If we come in that way, we could slip over to 2I. But then we're in a bit of a mess to get into B. We'll have to drop B first. We'll have to go in, loop back on ourselves, and drop into B. And then pull forward, drop into the... Okay, so we need to have 2I nearer to the train. That's what we need. So if I rearrange these now, we'll put 2I there, I think. That's what we're going to want. We're going to want 2I, then 5I, and then the steel mill. Okay, so our first pickup needs to be from 8O. Where's CMS? B80. So we're going to be right into 80. So we'll need to disconnect from this lot. This will mean we probably won't get the bonus on this job, but as I say, we're doing interesting jobs now. Let me just quickly check the fuel situation. So, on this thing, we have almost full. On the next D6, I have half a tank, which is probably enough. This is the one I think I'm concerned about. That's less than half a tank, so... This is going to be interesting, to say the least. Okay, I need to get forward of that switch there, and then reverse back into this B yard. 80 is the one on the far right, that one there. And then we'll put 70, which is immediately next to it, on the back of that. And then we'll reverse back here and grab the rest of it, and then off we go. Now this one we're picking up weighs 960 tons. That's quite a lot of weight. I want to run that single D6 as long as I can before I turn the others on. So what I might do is try and shunt with just one of them, leave and then put the middle one on as soon as I need to, and then leave the front one until we've got some kind of a climb that we need to get over. And that way we save fuel on the front D6. Okay, that's that one. We need to relieve that brake. And all the way back for this brake. I'm going to have to work out the total lengths of all of these as well. Right, now I need to get this one here, which is 7.0. Got a bit of wheel slippage going on. That is FH21, which is that one. Right, I've got the rear two D6s running. You can see those two there, so I've not run the first one just yet. And I've done the maths on this. And all in all, we're looking at 3,235 tons and 700 meters. So quite a substantial train. Certainly more than two D6s can handle up to 2% slope. But we can always turn the front one on if and when we need it. So there is that. We just need to get this thing connected up, get the jobs handed in, and we need to get out of here. I've burned quite a lot of time doing this. I don't think the scrap here is going to be coming in for a bonus. I might have left that braking a bit late. Yeah, that's a little bit harsh. Not going to lie, that was a little bit harsh. It certainly sounded harsh. However, the vehicle's in 100% condition, so we're all good here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving that, get that rolling, and we'll get these handed in. Where's the job thing? There it is. Okay. And hopefully I've done that correctly. And now I need to plan a... Oh, God. I've fallen down between the cars. I need to plan a route. There we go. I need to plan a route to... Where are we? We're at Coal Mine South. We're going to be coming out of here, keeping right. We're going to be keeping right again, heading towards a steel mill, but then taking a left. We're going to have to reverse back into the steel mill. Let's get some speed going here. And I'm going to run down to the front of the train, and we'll figure out the steel mill settings and get that delivered. Right, we're now approaching the switching that will take us down to the steel mill. That's the harbour line over there. So we're basically about here. That's the track that goes to the harbour. It's a 50 link through here. It's all downhill. I've set the length to 700 metres. We just got to control the speed because we've got that sharp dropping left turn. And we're going to have to set 700 metres to go past that switch so we can then reverse into the steel mill. The steel mill is a B3I drop. So if I get the steel mill up here, we will be coming in from here straight into B. And 3I is here. So we're going to go right, 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 left, right, left into 3I and make our drop there. It's going to be tricky because of the sheer amount of weight here. I'm probably going to start this DE6 at the point where we have to reverse into the steel mill because that is an incline into the steel mill. So far it's been all downhill, so I've got away with not burning any fuel. As you can see, there's not a huge amount left. Alright, we're on the drop left turn. There's the steel mill over there. We'll have a look at the jobs in the steel mill. I don't expect we'll take any, but I don't want to take anything after the coal power plant. If there's anything before, which is unlikely, then I might take it. Okay, having rounded through that, we can start the tracker. If we have a quick look back, we should see there's the back of the train there. I noticed the dynamic brake, even though I haven't got this started, the dynamic brake is operational. It's generating 600 amps of power, and it is putting the tractions up. So you do still get the benefit out of the dynamic brake, even though you haven't started the actual engine on this thing. We're going to want to be stopping. Let's get maximum dynamic now. We're doing 40, that's fine. Okay, let's get some braking going. Okay, we're now clear of that. So we'll just bring the train to a halt. Now, this is where it gets fun, because we need to now switch in the steel mill. We need to switch the... There's the farm. That's going to reverse us back into the steel mill. And we're now using all 3 locomotives to give us that extra oomph. And I'm going to have to make my way to the back of the train now, which is no mean feat. Because I need to get to the point where I can see where the scrap metal is so we can deliver it in the right part. You know, I got to the back of the train here and I thought to myself, have we lost some cars? Because it doesn't look like there's a lot of cars there. And then I counted them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I checked the job and it's 8. But for 1 minute, I genuinely thought we'd derailed some cars and left them behind. Now we're going to be dropping this weight off here, which is going to knock off 448 tons, which will bring us down to about 2.7-ish, 2.750. Still quite a lot. But double check they're going into 3i, which they are indeed. There's no point pushing this back any further than it needs to go, so we're going to stop it soon. Some of these jobs may well go to the machine factory, but the problem is if I pick them up, they'll be on the back of the train. And then we'll have to drop the coal off before it, and it'll get possible, but quite messy. So it's unlikely I'll take a job from here. Let's get this disconnected. Awesome. Scrap metal, 48 minutes. I reckon that's taken 60 minutes easily. But I didn't start a timer, so I have no idea. Whoa, 43? Blimey. I am surprised, genuinely. Okay, Harbour and Town, Harbour and Town. Iron Ore Mine West, again, that would go on the back of the train. Steel Mill, Harbour and Town, Machine Factory. See, there is a job, but we just can't do it, and it doesn't pay very well. So that is a no from us. And I think I'll probably leave 3 locos turned on. Actually, no, I'll turn the front one back off again until we get to City West, and then I'll turn it back on for the climb. Other than that, we can get out of here. Right, so we'll turn this traction motor off for now. And I'm just going to double check that the farm is set up for straight through. It should be. But it always pays a check. Same with Oil Well Central. Right, left, that's straight through. And then finally City West. Right, and we're out of there. Now, coal power plant. We are going to want to enter the coal power plant. That is going to be a left turn into the power plant. Now, if you remember, the way we ordered the jobs is we're going to be dropping B5i and then dropping A2i. So, B5i, what we want to do, we want to come in through here, and we don't want to go in the loading... Yes, no, we don't want to go in the loading bay, do we? Oh, we did this last time. No, we're going to keep right, and then we're going to come left, into here, and enter this loop, and then hopefully our front does not meet our tail. That's quite a long section of track. Let me just adjust our distance here. So that was 700 meters, and the iron was 107, so that's about 600 meters now. That should be okay. So 600 meters, we then loop back on ourselves to here, and then we reverse into B, 5i. So B would be a right into 5i. We then make that drop, we then pull forward and reverse into 2i and make that drop, and then we're free to basically get out of here. We can either just reverse back out that way, or we, you know, there's different ways out at that point. That's the plan. I'm not proposing to stop anywhere on the way because, as I've said before, we'd have to rearrange the cars. And I don't think it's worth it. And I don't think there's anything from Orwell Central or Farm that particularly goes up to the machine factory anyway. You know, we're coming into City West, and it kind of feels like it's gonna rain. It's getting really misty. Foggy, you might say. I'm just gonna start this other D6 up to get us up there. We're about to go up the hilly climb to coal power plant, and I don't want to be underpowered. It's just, yeah, I think it's going to rain. We'll see. Okay, 600 meters around the 30 limit. Start that timer. Just need to hold the speed around 30 until we get past that limit there. It feels weird having to use a DH4 just as a remote proxy. I wish there was a way around that. By the way, some of you guys left comments saying that you can get a mod that allows you to buy more museum, like buy more D6s to own. And I really wish that was in the base game. I am wary of using a mod like that. Because it could... It's one of those mods that sounds like it could break the game. Like, if you've then got owned DE6s, and they change the game, and that mod breaks, you could find yourself either with a save that won't load, or with DE6s that you've bought that you can no longer use. I don't know. I'm a little bit wary of using that particular mod. Whereas the ones I use are more, you know, like reordering the jobs. There we go. Reordering the jobs on the table. Like, if that mod breaks, yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it? But yeah, I do hope they put that facility into the base game at some point, because it would be nice to own multiple locomotives. And sure enough, it started to rain. Right, it is so misty that I think the coal power plant's here, but it is so flipping misty, I can't see where the heck we are right now. I think we went left, so I think I've entered this loop here. In which case we're coming up to this bit. We should see a switch left coming up. But yikes, this is interesting to say the least. Check our speed, 40. Okay, there's the merge, which would come from here. Yeah, that's that. Okay, we are there. Just want to keep the speed down because I oversped into this last time, didn't I? Okay, so we're going to go right here, then we're going to go left. Left there. My word, this is bad. I have to say, the scope for this going wrong is quite high now. So we're looking for a series of lefts. That's that one. Then we've got another one here. And then we should be entering this join here. And then I need to get out and make sure the head doesn't meet the tail. There should be a switch there. There it is. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stay on the train to make sure we don't loop back on ourselves. And I'm going to start a tracker so I know when the back has gone past the switch that we're after, which is this one. Wherever that is. There. Good grief, this is making it a lot harder. Okay, so here we need to not hit the back of the train before we complete that, is what we're aiming for here. So it looks like the speed limit around here is nearly 20. This could be a little bit touch and go. I kind of feel like we're going to be hitting the back of the train real soon. And that bar's not gone far enough. Blimey. Okay, I think I'm going to slow down. Yeah, that's only halfway. Good God. Let me slow this down. This is genuinely getting a bit too close for comfort. I don't see any cars moving right now. There's a locomotive. Okay, it's clear. I think we're clear. We're clear. We're just waiting for that to break now. This is the bit of track, isn't it, that we went down? That's fine. Whew. I was getting a little bit concerned though. Okay, let's get the brakes on. And we should be able to run down the back here now. And find... Look how misty it is. This is incredible. 5i should, in theory, be here. There's... No, is that the back of the train? Yeah, that's the back of the train. Right, so now we can flick that switch, which will send us into 5i, and we're looking at, what's that, 12, 15 cars to go into here. It's quite a lot. That is quite a lot. I don't know how long this is, but that is quite a lot of cars. I should have put flags on it, really. Because we're looking for the front 12 to keep for A2i. I'm going to have to count them or something. It's weird that the cars are here, but I can hear the engine over there. That's kind of trippy. Okay, I think we do up to about 20, no more. So what am I looking for? 12, 15 cars. That's quick enough. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have used flags. 5, that's the third of the way in. 6, 7 on the yellow. 8, 9, 10 on the yellow, 11, 12, 13, so 14's on the yellow, so that's a 15 in front of the yellow car, so I think that should be the last one. That's job number 21. That's 21, and hopefully this is a different job. Bingo! I'll take that. Right, where's the brake? It just shows you, when you're in the valley, how much weather can completely change how difficult a job is. I mean, right now I can't even find the flipping station. Station is north of the B yard, which would put it over here. There you go. Crikey. You know, the maps never used to show the station locations. That always made it interesting. 34 out of 64 minutes, 78,000. What are our fees looking like? Okay, half of that, 11, 26. Oil well central. Have I still not paid that fee yet? Blimey. I thought I'd cleared all the fees. Okay, so what we're looking for now is this switch here. This is 2i, which is where the next job lot needs to go into. So when they get past this one, we can reverse the rest of it back into 2i. Look at that. I reckon that visibility is about, what, 40 meters if at best? Maybe 30? Terrible. Also, why is it when you zoom in, the headlights shine? That was weird. There we go. Let's get the brake on them. Right, now, let's get that moving and decide which way we're going to get out of here. Because there are options. The simplest one is probably to reverse after that switch there. If we drive around forward there, we could just drive around, actually. Let's just drive around till we get to here, it's fine. We'll send that on its way. We'll go and hand this job in if I can find the station again. There it is. And then we'll get up to the machine factory. 38 out of 64 minutes, another 65,000, thank you very much. Shunting jobs, logistic job back to the iron mine. That's fine. I'm just gonna clear that fee there. Then we've just got locomotive fees left. Right, I need to now run over here. That's the yard that we just dropped in. Running in the mist, trying to work out where the track is. Here we go. Here's the join. So keep that down to 40. This is where you start to see weird things in the map, look. You're not supposed to be here. That's the split up in the machine factory. So as long as we bring the train back around here, we can then reverse it up to the factory. And I'm going to reverse it straight into the service yard, I think, at the machine factory, which is here. So we're going to go left, left again, straight into there, and get everything fueled and serviced. I'm just reversing up to the machine factory. I've turned this locomotive off. It was definitely the right call, with the fuel situation being as it is, because even this one here, which had a bit more fuel than the front loco, even this one is running pretty low. So we're back to just running this one, which is fine for fuel. I just need to slow down now because I need to get ready to join the service centre. I don't know which direction we're heading out of here because I don't know what the job situation is going to be. So I could well be facing the wrong way, but there is a possibility of turning around that military yard. I don't think we're too long to fit into the military yard. We are getting quite long. If we're going to head out the other way, if we're going to head out that way, I don't know what the jobs are, you see. I kind of like to go to the oil refinery and the food factory and Orwell North and do a bit more around here. We've not done a lot around there. And so, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what the jobs are. I can barely even make out what locomotives are in there. 2 D2s, DM3 and D6, but the mist is strong. I'm going to have to reverse. I don't know how far. I need to get the DH4 so I can chuck the fuel connector into it. And we've got this car on the back as well, so I might have to go right up to the bumpers. There we go. That should do, hopefully. Yeah, that'll fit, won't it? There we go. That's just about fits. That cable honestly needs to be a lot longer than that. That is nowhere near long enough. Right, let's see what the damage... Look at this. It's got a bit of a kink in it, look. Let's see what the damage is. I think... Yeah, a few of these are going to be on a lot of diesel. That's a bit of body work. Which one was that? That was the LO87. Was that one? No. Oh, that's the DH4. Okay, so a bit of body work on the DH4. That's fine. This is 71. Yeah, that's the rear D6, I think. Half a tank of diesel. And then 05. Presume that is the diesel number 2. And this one here, that's got to be 558. That's that one, isn't it? No, that's 699. And this is presumably the front D6. Yeah, 558 must be the slug. Okay, so what we're looking at, running costs of 54,000. Which, you know, it's quite high, but we're now on 1.8 million. Like I say, we're more about having a bit of fun these days than making some money. As long as we've got enough money to pay our bills in the event of a fatality, shall we say, then we'll be good. I think I'll run the DH4 for shunting work. That will keep the cost down, won't it? So we'll have to brake cut this one in. And brake cut... Which one was on now? Is it this one? I think this one was brake, yeah. Cut that out. So, I think we'll now go forward and reverse into loading yard. So the loading yard is over at C, which is here. So to get to C, we're going to take a left turn into C. So we'll pull forward to here and reverse back into C loading yard and get our part for our SO60. And then see what jobs are available. Well, I can see trams over there. They're always worth good money, but they always go to a city, don't they? So that could be city south or city west. Also, I like how the weather has cleared up. Like the mist is lifting. Now I've delivered into the coal power plant. Like if the visibility had been like this at the coal power plant, my life would have been a lot easier. So thanks for that scumbag game. This is the loading bay we want. There's the bit we need to go to. So what we'll do is we'll jump forward into here and we'll kill that engine. And I'm going to stick the handbrake on the GH4. And we are going to train fully loaded. There we go. So there we go. We've got our new part. That's our SO60 boiler part right there. Looks like an entirely new internal boiler. Completely. That's kind of cool. But I think that's us done for this episode, guys. We are now up at the machine factory. We have fully serviced locomotives. We have the part we need, and we have 1.8 million in the bank. In the next episode, what we'll do is we'll take some jobs out of the machine factory, eventually to get back to here. But I'm not going to go direct necessarily. We'll be driven by the jobs. We'll see what there is. Like I say, I want to explore more of the map now. And show you guys different things rather than focus on making money, which we don't really need to make anymore. But that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Until the next one, take care, guys. Happy training.